From chaos to control. In this video, I'll show you examples of our company's core values from creators training, and I will also show you how you can create your own core values in just 5 minutes. Are you tired of constantly putting out fires and trying to manage your team? Put down that extinguisher and grab a glass of wine, because I'm about to share the secret on how to effectively manage your team and set up your personal core values that will help you manage and run your team like a badass. And at the very end, I'll also share my copy and paste outline so that you can get started right away, so make sure you stay till the very end. Now, I was feeling super frustrated when I first started hiring my first employees, and I was always wondering, why the heck are they not performing? I was literally like super sad at points where I was like, I can't rely on these people, I don't know what's going on, and I really blamed them for not performing, where when I actually started implementing core values, like strict guidelines on how I want my team to perform and what standards I want them to perform at, everything changed. My team performed better, I was happier, and I finally felt like I can actually take a breath now. So sit back, relax, and take some notes, because in this video I will show you our examples of core values in our company and a step-by-step guide on how you set up your own core values, and most importantly, what you really have to pay attention to when you actually create these core values. There's this one thing that you really need when you're setting them up, so make sure you stay to the very end, and let's jump into it. Let's get into the juicy part here. I pulled up my screen and I am, as always, in my Notion dashboard. That's where we build our whole company values, job scorecards, hiring posts, anything we literally need, you name it. And the first thing we're going to do right now is go over our company's creators trainings values, and in just a second I'll show you what things you specifically need to include when you create your own core values for your company. But first, I'll go over some examples that I think are super important for you when you start out hiring a team, or just look for some inspiration on what core values determine A player qualities and which ones you probably shouldn't use. Now let's look at exactly what you want to put in there, and please take notes right now. So you want to create a document, either you're using Google Docs, but I highly recommend Notion. You want to put the value, and then you want to go really in depth, and I'll go into some examples in just a second. So it's basically always a summary, some examples, and then the outcome, or what you basically expect from them in the end. The first core value that I always emphasize any startup or business to have is results or die, because in the end it really doesn't matter how many hours you worked on something or how much time you spent on it. The only thing that matters is getting a result. So I don't care if you work 30 hours or 2 hours if you get me the result that we're looking for. And that's one of the most important things when you build an A-player team. So let's go over that example specifically, because you definitely need to have that. Results or die. What is the only thing that matters? So we are outlining the only thing that matters to your team very specifically. We, for example, say the ultimate killer of the team and your productivity is when people begin to focus on hours worked, time spent, or anything other than the actual result they're delivering to the team. High performance teams must focus on one thing and one thing only, which is results. So please include that in your core values. If you like to chill and you don't really feel like you need results, then by any means don't put it in there. You decide what you want to put in there. Then we put some bad examples of what people might be doing, which is exactly something that we are outlining, so people, when we onboard them into our company, they don't make that same mistake. Then we also add good examples, so our employees know exactly what we really like and how they can live up to that value in particular. And then we are also outlining why this is important, because you always need to give a reason to your team or employees on why you do things the way you do it, so you get buy-in from them and they understand why that behavior is preferred by you. The next thing, really important, is speed is king. Everything needs to get done quickly. We are a company that really emphasizes speed. So for example, the speed at which you want to try to get things done will be 10 times faster than what is humanly possible. Then we have the work speed, the learning speed, communication speed, and then the outcomes. Again, like, why is that important? Okay, so super important. You have a summary, Then you have some examples, good, bad, whatever fits. Then the outcomes / why you decide to implement this and give them a reason why this is important. The next thing we have is everyone is a floor sweeper, which is so important because we literally had people on our team, they got fired really quickly because they did not enjoy working with us. Because if we have to constantly tell someone, we need to get this done, and they're like, it's not my job, I'm too good for that. That's not how we roll. Like even the CEO does the littlest thing. So for us, it's really important. Everyone is a floor sweeper. You can name it differently, but that's one thing that is a must. If you have someone on the team that is, I don't want to do this, I'm too good for that, I have too much experience and I'm not doing this. That is very counterproductive for the whole team, and you don't really want that. So that's a good example of what you can put in there. Again, we have the examples, the outcomes. Radical transparency is the next one, and we have quite a lot of core values. But that one is super important, and it is hard to practice, and I even feel like it's hard for me sometimes to speak up. You really want to nurture an environment where people feel like they can speak up and where they feel like I can say anything I want to if it's in the best interest of the company and push back. That also means bringing up issues when they arise and not just being quiet. This happens a lot of times when you have VAs from other countries and you ask them about their opinion and they don't like something, but they would never tell you. That's exactly what you don't want. So you want to foster radical transparency in your company. If this is obviously what you want to do, up to you, it's your company. The next one is take ownership and break shit. And that is super important, especially when you're in a startup, because you have rules, obviously, but in a startup, it's all about improving as quickly as possible and also encourage your team to break shit. And what that means is, for example, the CEO tells you to create a marketing campaign, exactly how he outlined it. You think something else might be more effective in that marketing campaign. You try it out and it might work. But if it doesn't, you broke shit to make the company more money, and that is encouraged. Or another example would be, we had a closer. She was trying to close a client on a 3-month refund guarantee. What happened? And the client took the course for 3 months and then wanted a refund. It could have worked. In this case, it didn't, but this is also encouraged. So if you are fostering innovation, this is something you can put in your scorecard. Then we also have be impressive as our core value, because we want to work with members of our team that impress us. So I want to have someone by my side that constantly inspires me to be better and breaks my beliefs of how good something can actually be. So for example, if I say I'm closing at a 60% close rate, that person is closing at a 70% close rate and reaches out to 200 new leads a day. That's impressive. That's the people I want to learn from. So it's important that you know exactly what people do you want to surround yourself with. It's like being in a relationship, right? If you have a husband or wife that drags you down and just tells you, no, you can't do this, blah, 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 blah. That's not good. Like, you want people that lift you up, push you to be better. And that's exactly what I want from my team as well. And then I usually end something with final thoughts. And I usually bring these core values up on a job interview, or basically when I hire them already. And that's the onboarding part. And I give them the option to back out, because this is how we roll. And the most important part then is, once you onboard every single person with this beautiful core values, is to hold them accountable to it. If someone, for example, is not radical transparent, or start saying, but I worked so much, and does it matter how much you worked, you didn't get the result? It was clearly outlined, we both agreed to it. So you bring that up to them and you make a plan with them to correct that behavior. And then that is how you actually lead, by core values and not by sanctions and taking away things from your team and fear. So I would love to see you guys lead from your core values and build a team that is aligned on everything. And literally, once I implemented this, my whole team performed so much better. Like, it is crazy. I can't emphasize it enough. I would love to see what ideas for core values you have. Put it in the comments. If you have any questions, also put it in the comments. I hope this video provided a lot of value to you. This is literally my mission. I want to help you and also myself scale from 100K to $1 million a month. And honestly, I've no idea if I will even get there. I'm doing all of this with my boyfriend for our company, Creators Training, and I'm sharing my day-to-day journey with you on a weekly basis. So if you're interested in scaling an online business, let's win together, or maybe fail together. So I'd love to have you along that journey. So subscribe if you found this helpful, and I'll see you next week.